G'day guys, this is Holy Quick signing in today, and it's been quite a while since I've done one of these rants because, well, there hasn't been much entertainment news, but I've recently stumbled upon a really disturbing trend that's been going on lately, and it relates to the deep fake phenomena. Now, if you didn't already know what that's about, basically what's happening is software techs have come up with programs now where anybody on Earth can be replicated. Any celebrity or politician can have their face and voice spliced into a completely faked video. And in the era of fake news, this could be a game changer. And I'll tell you why in a minute. If you look at just this news article I've come across here, you can see Obama in 4 different poses here. All of those poses have been made up through a program. And you're about to see his facial expressions and vocabulary is all manipulated. So just have a little look at this.
To invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
You see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but...
See, that sounds like Barack Obama's accent, doesn't it? And his mouth is moving to the sounds that are coming out of his mouth. So as far as I'm concerned, if I saw this video, I wouldn't say instantly, that's fake. Obviously, you can see there's some sort of puppetry going on. I can't, when I look at this, I literally can't decipher that this is not the person in front of me.
Someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
So basically what's happened here is they got an image of Ronald Reagan, and his whole face has been mapped by a computer program, and now they can actually manipulate it in a three-dimensional position. So you can have him like this, or down like this, and around like this, and they can have his mouth moving to the sounds that any voice you want to put on him. So this is groundbreaking technology, and it is exciting for the future because it opens up a lot of avenues in terms of creativity, but it's also very dangerous if it gets in the wrong hands. And it's becoming more common now. These programs are available for anybody out there to basically use against their opponents, their enemies. Fake news, well, you could have Donald Trump, a picture of Donald Trump saying some horrible thing just before the election in 2020. And if it's a week before the election, it could actually sway the voting public before the video's even been proven to be the genuine article. So look at that, they can actually manipulate the face in all directions.
It's sort of learning to recreate.
I mean, look at this. Look at the lighting, and this actor here is Steve Buscemi, and they've spliced his face onto Jennifer Lawrence at the Golden Globes. And if you look at that, it looks strange. It looks like a transgender man, but it's almost impossible for you to see the seams that they've stitched together.
Person's face by looking at.
So look, they've got every frame of the movement of the face to mimic her movements.
Of images over and over and over.
All right, guys. So I just had to stop the video there because it took me about 10 seconds to connect the dots. Some genius has stitched Nicolas Cage's face to various actors, and it's so seamlessly done that I actually thought I was looking at an episode of Friends, but it's Nicolas Cage, and his face has been implanted into all the actors. of the Friends cast, and it is incredible. You have got to see this. Just look at that. You got Phoebe right there with Nicolas Cage. I don't even think they could put a male's face on a female, but I guess they did it with Steve Buscemi, so you can do it. Any person can be replicated.
That was terrific.
Really? Bitch.
Just look at that. Look at the way he can squint. Like, how do they do that? How'd they get the Nicolas Cage face to have it, the muscles here and like that? How'd they get him to do that? Have they got a picture of him in that position and been able to? Oh, I don't know. I'm totally out of my depth here, as you can probably understand, but it's incredible what I'm witnessing.
Hi, Dr. Emmett Brown.
I mean, look at that. Christopher Lloyd, iconic, Back to the Future. You've got Nicolas Cage as Doc Brown. Like, as if Christopher Lloyd was never cast in the movie. Nicolas Cage got the role. This is like an inverted reality right now.
I'm about to embark on an historic journey.
So I'm sentient, but Commander Data.
Star Trek? New Generation? I mean, look at that. Right there. If you'd never seen this show before, could you determine that Nicolas Cage is not suitable in this scene? That there's warping issues with the face, that you can clearly tell that face does not belong on that body.
There is not. That's right. Why? Why am I sentient? Well, you are self-aware. Ah, that's the second of your criteria. Let's deal
Amazing.
with the first.
Amazing. They could even get the lighting right.
Is Commander Data intelligent? Yes. It has the ability to learn and understand and to...
Of course, it's a bit easier to do this one because he's not really reacting. He's kind of keeping a still face. So that's probably the best context to use this technology.
Stab, shot, poison, frozen, hung,
That sounds like Bill Murray?
and burned.
Is that...
In my head,
No.
I'd be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching if my
No. Oh. Oh, this is incredible. You could do anything with this. Oh. I won't go any further. I think this one speaks for itself. Elvis Presley. You can get Elvis Presley to return to the live action scene. Actually, that's interesting. Could this technology be used to bring back dead actors of the past? Like Elvis Presley or Marilyn Monroe or James Dean? If you had enough images of those, musicians or actors in the right poses, you could literally make a live action movie where they could be in the movie but faked. Maybe you guys know, are there any movies where this technology has been used? I can only remember a scene from Forrest Gump where he meets Tom Hanks meets JFK, and they did that so well that even JFK reacts. And I don't know how they were able to mask whoever was originally in that scene of the movie and actually have Forrest Gump with his little comedic antics. It's really incredible. But what's probably the most concerning aspect of it is that it's now more widely available for people who, like myself, could just download this software and put my own face onto somebody, or I could frame somebody. For example, Donald Trump, right? Someone could use his face and put it in a sex tape or some sort of salacious material and then blackmail him. Or release it on the eve of the 2020 election to say, we got him. We finally got, the Russian hookers. We finally found him. It's pretty, it could be a very powerful tool for propaganda. But just to wrap up the video, this is the most recent article. What I've been discovering is that Hollywood is now using AI and machine learning to actually script movies and write whole set pieces and just have a little listen how Hollywood shaped the Logan trailer, you know, Wolverine, using this type of machine learning, AI.
Already using this artificial intelligence and these computer algorithms to decide what kind of an audience is going to like one type of a product or another in entertainment.
So what they would do is they'd have presumably a test audience that would watch a trailer or a movie and highlight scenes in the movie that they really liked, you know, they're really engaged in, and then the machine they input that into a computer machine, and the computer creates patterns where for future movies they can replicate that same pattern. And I suppose we've actually seen that in the Marvel universe, because it feels like those movies are on an assembly line and they've been replicated over and over again, which hasn't really attracted me to watching those movies. Even though Avengers Endgame is one of the biggest grossing movies of all time now, like what, $2 billion it's made, it's going to overtake Avatar and Titanic. I'm the least bit interested in it because for me it's like a soulless cookie cutter, hero wins at the end. You know, it's just like I can predict the movie before I even watch it. Maybe if you've seen it, you can tell me off I got that wrong, but it just doesn't appeal to me. But in terms of Hollywood, it's working. They're making bank. They're treating us like slot machines. They know exactly what gets the audience in and how they can make the trailer to maximize the biggest demographic it appeals to.
For example, let's talk Wolverine because, Hugh Jackman.
All right.
So there was a trailer for Logan,
Yes.
and they used, these complex algorithms to figure out who the movie was going to appeal to.
Yes, because what the companies found is that, when you have like an action film trailer, when you have a drama trailer, there are certain images that are evoked on these trailers, like there's a pattern. And when you look at the images, like say like facial hair or trees, I guess the frequency of those images and the patterns in which they appear, you can draw conclusions.
So, Hollywood has figured out what appeals to the mass audience. They've basically gamed the system now to the point where they don't really make flops anymore. Because even if the movie's junk, right? They get bums in seats. They get people going there. Even if they come out disappointed and hating the director or hating the actors in it, they've already made the money from the box office. So is that the future of big productions? Are we going to see them putting all their eggs in one basket, $200, $300 million budgets with actors like, Robert Downey Jr. getting like $100 million to play Iron Man? I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest paydays ever because they know that people watch the movie when Iron Man's in it. And that's why he gets the most screen time, or Chris Hemsworth as Thor, or who's Chris Evans as Captain America. They know how much screen time to give them, how to put them in action scenes, and how to sequence events in the movie to just get people's attention and hold it. But for me, that's quite mind-numbing, and I can't say I've been to the cinema for a really, really long time because there's just no independent movies being made anymore. And guys, tell me in the comments, do you fear for the future of movies? Do you think it's just one-way traffic now? We're just going to get the same type of movie recycled over and over again? Because in my opinion, the golden age of movies was the 1970s because that's when independent filmmakers took risks. Remember the term taking a risk? Like Apocalypse Now with Francis Ford Coppola? That was a big budget risk for the studio that made that movie, but it became one of the greatest movies of all time. Or Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese. Would films like that be getting made anymore? Would studios be willing to put $50 million, $100 million on a product which the computer hasn't really assessed yet? That's going to be very, very interesting. I remain optimistic about it. But tell me your thoughts in the comments, guys. And please leave a like on this video because it really encourages me to make more of these. Hopefully more rather than less in the future because I've had a bit of a hiatus. But please keep encouraging me, guys. And I'll see you next time on the next rant, I should say. And this is Holy Critic signing out.